That's been really amazing.
Thank you.
So something just caught my eyes, and I need you to just speak about it.
With all pleasure, sir.
What's this design on you're wearing on?
All right. You can see it boldly here. This is actually
What's really here?
Bayana Tuffa.
That's
In
your
the
brand, right?
calligraphic font. That's my brand.
Amazing, amazing.
That's my brand.
What's Bayana Tuffa?
Bayana Tuffa, the derivation actually was built up from my son. My eldest son is actually known Bayana. Now the word Bayana is a Hausa word to meaning reveal.
Review.
Reveal
Review.
God's
Oh,
glory. When I wanted to float something that would be memorable, something that would outstand the test of time, true, unique, basically. For some reason, I think the name was just sonorous to me. So I decided to just settle on that. Bayana. It actually means reveal.
Amazing.
Whenever you're putting on Bayana Tuffa, you're actually putting on reveal. This is a reveal concept. All right.
What type of
Now,
is this?
we decided, for me, I like to create a story because I love story. You can see from the little time we've been together,
Yeah,
I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I love telling my stories, but in a way, I love telling my story with symbols. That is why I choose to leverage on wearable art.
Wearable art.
Wearable art,
Oh,
t-shirts, whatever.
Oh, you do your art
Exactly.
on clothing.
It is not just only just having just a design or aesthetics on a fabric, but I want to tell a story.
Oh,
Yes,
amazing.
exactly. We have it here. This is a storyboard.
Wow.
This was derived from the hieroglyphics, the Egyptian
hieroglyphics.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Which metamorphosis into eventually what we have as today motifs.
Motifs.
These are symbolic terms or expressions that are being used to tell a story in a way. I choose to leverage on that because I love symbols. I come from the northern part of Nigeria, largely, and then we are not more of a figure people. We don't like, maybe because of religious reasons. We like playing with symbols. So you find them on our caps, on calabash, and our embroidery. Not as the other side, the who love figures.
All right.
Yes, it's considered a bit more sacrilege for religious
reasons.
purposes. But for me, looking at my background, I'm a Christian, even though I hail from the northern part of Nigeria, and I believe my artistic expression should not be limited to me only. I should be able to tell my story to my public audience around the face of the world.
Amazing.
That's why I leverage on using the symbols.
Wow. I feel like having.
Oh, of course,
this print on my shirt.
Oh yes, I could do that for you for free.
Most definitely.
For free.
Somehow, one day I'm going to rock Bayana Tuffa brandings, and then you see how good it looks. There's art going on, and there's a whole lot of work going on here.
Exactly.
I know you're part of those trying to make the changes and changes. Please tell us what's happening here. What's the work? What's the whole process? Are we good? There's a lot of work. I can see.
This is a playboard. So each of the walls are playboard. Each of the board. Let's move back a little bit. Now we have the walls, and you all agree with me. The art could be depicted in any kind of form.
Okay.
On fabrics, on walls, on canvases. All art has several expressions. Exactly. For now, we are limited to these walls.
Okay.
This is our canvas. This is our board.
Okay.
We tell our stories with our board, right? You could see a few right here. This is going to take a different board altogether. This is time to be transition. That is what transportation was like in the early Lagos, from the Bolekaja to the eventual Oshodi bus. Then yes, the Molu were good, and then here will be a continuation, of the same activity. Here might be the current use, what do you call the blue
buses.
The blue buses, exactly.
Okay.
And you can see, if you look from behind, there's an impression.
There's an impression already.
Of the Ayo. Exactly. All of what we're concerned about is we're trying to tell a story, so that as many people who are coming in as foreigners, they will be acquainted with our culture. Not necessarily all of them might be opportune to meet with me to get the education, but we believe the aesthetics we should be able to speak to them. Exactly. Wow. So when they come around, this is it. We are planning to actually have the entire walls all decorated. We just want to use the ground as a storytelling platform.
Amazing.
Exactly. So we have it moving this way toward the extreme there. Then subsequently to the other side. Yeah. What is going on here? Like I said, this is part of the transition of the transport system in Lagos. Yeah. Exactly.
By the time they're done, they were going to see a lot of stuff.
And then we have here, this is another playboard again. This is about the Festac activities.
I'm particular about this one.
Beautiful.
I'm particular about
now, the Festac activity that took place in to 1977.
1977.
We can trace all artistic improvement and the growth of art. Let me say Nigeria and of course Africa. First,
To
go back
Festac-
to Festac.
Festac-
Why?
Wow.
Because it was not just only Africa, but even African in the diaspora who came in to commemorate with their ancestral background,
Wow.
on their culture. You understand? In a way, a whole community was actually built to that effect.
Wow.
The government of Nigeria under Obasanjo at that time commissioned that. A whole community, which is presently today Festac Town. Now,
Oh,
that was dedicated for that activity. Exactly.
Wow.
Because since we were hosting literally the whole world, they needed to provide good accommodation.
Innovation and
Our
spacing.
hotels were not enough. Let me use a word at that
Was-
time
wasn't
to be able
enough.
to take the contents of those individuals.
Wow.
I mean, these are sea of people coming from
Thousands
different
and
cultures and
millions
different.
of people coming.
So when they all came, there were diverse display of cultures and all the stuff. We choose as part of a monument of a referral, we wanted to build something that when our strangers or tourists comes in, they'll be able to relate with it. So you could see in between the impression, there are pictures and stamping between them. Right. This is called like mixed media.
Media.
Right. My friend, my brother who's actually working on this is to be able to bring it out more clearly and visible.
So let me read this out.
Read it out.
On the music,
Black Americans at the Festac 77. The festival was created to unite the black people all over the world.
Amazing.
Do you see that?
So Festac 77 was an event that was.
It was its aim to unite all the black.
All the blacks.
Exactly. You see, this shows actually how prominently Nigeria is in the place of history.
Wow.
Nigeria is not just only a country; it's not called or tagged as the giant of Africa. Just
for
as
tagging,
no.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You see, when you say something is big or something is giant, there are circumstances that actually characterize it or give it that tendency.
Wow.
Now let's take for example, in a family, we have the eldest, we have the younger. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't the younger take the place of the elder? Logic. Am I right, sir?
Logically.
Logic. No matter how good or how supposedly big size the younger person will be, he cannot take the place of the older.
Okay.
There are things that the older person or the elder brother or whatever have an advantage to life. The same way, Nigeria has both social and political advantage in the global space, especially to the black race. You have read it over there.
Yeah,
to unite all black people all over the world.
Imagine.
As many black people who are even our fathers who have been taken to diaspora on slavery basis, of course they are traceable back to Africa. We were not saying that necessarily they all have to be all Nigerians. Yes, this is slavery, so they must have been taken from different part of the world. Africa, exactly. Yeah. But Nigeria is seen as the convergence, where I'm humble to say that Nigeria seems to be like the home of all black race.
All black race. I think that's correct.
Yeah. So it's unargued because literally, if you travel out, it will amaze you. The bolder people, the most creative, the most innovative, the forefront of the black race.
The black race.
Unarguably are Nigerians.
Nigeria seems to be in front.
We know they carry last.
No,
we know they carry last. We know they carry last.
Amazing.
It's not a way of being trying to be arrogant, but that's the truth about it. Nigerians are people who are very confident about themselves. I was in South Africa a certain time, and I remember walking into a music shop, what we call a record, whatever. I went for a concert because I do music too. So when I got in there, from my accent, they knew I'm a Nigerian. Yeah. So I noticed almost literally all the whole ladies, from the front desk ladies to the ladies, running all around to me. And that was my first time to see ladies almost like wanted to toast me.
Because you're Nigerian.
Because I'm a Nigerian.
Amazing.
They were not asking where was my hotel lodge. I was actually lodging in Porto Hotel.
Okay.
Most of them were willing to want to come over and just have a time with me. I was like, hey, wait a minute. I'm married. But see, there's something spectacular about being a Nigerian. And I was privileged also to have met a lot of other foreigners within Nigeria who tends to be very proud being in Nigeria. Yeah. In a way, I think I'm actually blowing my trumpet, as being Nigerian.
I love
exactly. Nigeria is fantastic. And you see, many people don't know. I have a student, whose father came to just have a moment of conversation with me.
Okay.
And then I was shocked to discover the father was telling me that he learned about this very market in New York.
In New York.
That his friends were telling him about this market. So he's like,
Far back.
he said, I'm a Nigerian,
back
but
in New York.
yeah, we're back in New York.
Wow.
He says his friends were telling him, so you were like, for real? You mean you designed it like that? So it was when he came, the day he came to see me was his second time in life to come to this market. The first time was when he came with the rest of his friends. So the second was when his student, who is actually an art student, taking lecture with me, he came and he was. So he said so much about the market that, in fact, he begged that I should link him to the present chairman, which I did, And he said something very deliberately. He said, listen, if anybody will want to tamper with this market in any way, look, he's a lawyer, he's going to go all out. Yeah, because this is a treasure home.
It's a treasure.
It's a treasure home.
Right. It is.
Yeah, this is a treasure home. So far, this is what is all about this market. And of course, this playboard here, this playboard here. We are going to have other
spaces,
to tell stories also.
We just hope we are able to cover all of this week. So for a moment before we go, what would you like to say to young Africans, to artists? What's your message to Africa?
Right, this is it. Simple. No artist thrived alone. Hear me and hear me well. No artist thrive alone. And then let's not deceive ourselves. You are not selling a common product like tomatoes, you're selling maybe eggs, some grocery. You are selling an intellectual property that's going to outwit you. And that means there's a legacy attached.
Yeah.
So it's not just only an artwork, it's a legacy embodied together. So what do I mean? It means the art in itself cannot sell. The artist as an individual cannot sell. That's why oftentimes there are always exhibitions organized by where several group artists get involved, so that it creates an attention where people come from different part of the world to come view this work, see this work of creativity.
Wow.
Not necessarily for the sale. The sale is just one part of it, but to a larger extent, to create that presence. So this is it. I will enjoin all artists anywhere around the world, particularly, let me say this with a loud voice, the Nigerian artists. We don't have to create a disparity. Yes, in our unity, that is how we create our influence. It's in our unity. And especially, let me narrow it also to those of us who are here. Like I said earlier, if you caught my word, that we have more of the vendors and we have more of the creative artists. So but I'm looking at a situation whereby there has to be a marriage of the two. But the vendors shouldn't just only think of the money. But you should think of also, okay, I cannot survive without the creative artist. Even if not necessarily you're getting the artist from outside, okay, you have to reconcile it because the artist is still the artist, the one you're picking outside or the one that's within, right? Our works must not relate to be the same. But you have to respect that, look, I'm collecting an intellectual property. It's not just, I'm collecting legacy. I'm collecting a monument.
Legacy.
Exactly. So these things, I want to see a situation whereby there have to be a marriage of the two. And then subsequently, we should think of maybe an event, maybe bi-weekly. Yeah, we can come up with something. And then we create a forum where we educate the world about art. Maybe we put up some festivity, dance, and stuff, maybe fashion stuff. Amazing. We can collaborate, with other artists I'm talking about fashion artists, music artists, and several others like that. Just because art is entertaining, you can't take the entertaining side of art. It's abstracted. It's also entertaining. So we have to see how we can reconcile the two together. Amazing. So that is going to help us to be able to travel and to elevate the monument essence of this market. Wow. It will not just be seen as one art craft that we're only waiting. We're at the mercy of only when people come in before they buy one or two stuff. Yeah, we have to see it as the place where activities is going on, except maybe when it is night. Of course, everybody closes. But once when the market open, it's art, it's entertaining. So we should be able to have rhythmic music, fashions. We're also inviting other creative minds, poets, writers, actors, come in. That is why we're actually lifting the face, of the art. We're giving it a first lift, so that the place will be completely a creative ground. Content creators come and create. Let's work together. Yeah, artists, actors, come and do your art here. Fashionings, come do your runways here, and several of these things, And then lastly, I will want to put this across, you know, please, without due respect, art is all about storytelling. Whatever you put down, you depict on canvas, on fabrics like this, or whatever, maybe you carved, without a good story, you can sell it well. And then this is actually a challenge because why? A lot of the many supposedly vendors are not informed behind the many work they sell. So I would be of a please and advice, less open to reading. Reading has been made more easier now because we have a lot of, we have whatever. We have, even if you don't want to do that, if you are too bored with reading, you could go to your YouTube. Yeah, get information. Be intentional about it. Yeah, know stories behind most of the work piece that you possess. It will help you because the worth of the work is not in the aesthetics. Yeah, obviously, it's not. No matter how beautiful the work of art is, it is a story. It has a good story behind it. You know, it sells the work multiple times the worth. That's why you see art at what it costs here, it may not be what it costs in the other place. Yeah. So that's it. I am of the opinion, and I'm suggesting it very strongly. Artists, as well as the vendors, get yourself informed. You know, I think we have a reference library inside the market. I'm talking about Frank. You know, so we're thinking of you can access information there. You know, yes, and then I'm seeing a reason where we have to constantly be creating a reorientation, you know, where we will call other seasoned, notable, informed artists like myself and several, even within, so that we can be able to translate, to share the marketing value, the aesthetics value, the creative value of the art, so that the art seller knows that he's carrying a treasure.
Rather than just
He's not just owning a library or gallery, he's carrying a treasure. That's exactly what we're concerned about. And lastly, like I love wearable art. Like I see you guys know you're telling the story already with your boogie baggy, you know, African print, you know. So I want to put it across, you know, to as many of both vendors, both artists, you know, let's be creative. Let's put on something that reflects us. See, when a medical doctor comes into place, you know, he comes with a stethoscope. When a teacher comes in, he put up his shirt, he looks in. When a military man comes, he's in uniform. So the same way too, the artist should be known for who he is as an artist. Yeah, you can look slightly dirty, but it's intentional.
That's the art in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Sam Judah.
Yeah. It was an amazing time. Yeah. And please, let me just show this. Come over. You see, this is art. This is art. He doesn't need to tell anybody anywhere he steps in the world. This is art. Yeah. You can see the artist himself working. This is art. You know, he can choose to go this way. He can go to the bank this way. Nobody's gonna harass him. Yeah. They will say, hey, which smart man is here? They know that he's an artist. You know. And so that's so far about it. You know. And we look forward to do more. And then, trust me, we have to work as a team to make sure we create the presence of this market. We have to elevate the value and the essence of this market to the whole world. Not because they don't know, maybe they know to minimal extent, but we're thinking of how to make it very pronounced. We're intentional about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Mr. Sam Judah, for the time.
Thank you very much.